Okay guys, I got a fun test planned for today. I'm not at my shop. We're going to be chopping up some bones, and I didn't want to leave bone shards all over my shop where the dogs could get to them. But last week was opening day of elk season, and so me and a couple of buddies of mine went up and were lucky enough to get 3 elk. I brought them all back, worked them up, and decided to do some testing on the carcasses before I threw them in the dumpster. So I've got a couple of blades here I'd like to test out. We've got the Cold Steel Gladius machete, a Gladius that I built out of a leaf spring. It's the first one, so it's usually the first couple of times I make anything it doesn't come out right, so we'll just go ahead and test it and see what happens. My new pack knife. It's got a differential grind where it's thicker up at the point and then gets thinner and thinner and thinner towards the ricasso. The Fiskars, it's not the X7, but it is an older model of the Fiskars hatchet. I've got a 52-100 Hunter that I didn't particularly care for, and a 1095 Hunter to test them out. The chopper that I keep in my shop for taking heads off of deer and antelope and such before I skin them out. Sharpening stone and my cleaver and a 1095, and a production cleaver. This one says American Cutlery. So we're gonna do a little bit of testing and see what happens. Okay, first up is the Cold Steel Gladius machete. Pretty much I just bought this a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to even cut anything with it yet. So we're going to see how well, I believe these are made out of 1055, so we'll see how well it goes through an elk leg bone. It's cut through pretty good. We've got just a little bit of deformation. Not very bad at all. Oh, I should mention that these elk were shot October 15th, and today is October 22nd. So they're not quite fresh, but they're about as fresh as I could get by the time I worked everything up and got around to doing this. Got a nice day for it. It looks to me just like a little bit of rolling, and none of it. I think the deepest roll there is probably maybe 10 thousandths or so deep into the edge. So we can try it again. And that was with the other side of the blade, so the other edge, and it took even less damage than the one before. Tell you the truth, I've never cut into bone, so I don't know if doing your standard coming in at an angle and then an angle, if that helps. It seems to be just pretty much splintering away. Can't really tell there's much of a grain in it at all. Anyway, that was the Cold Steel Gladius machete. Now we'll try mine. It's out of 5160, been triple quenched in vegetable oil. And I want to say I drew this one back a little bit softer than what I normally do. There's a good spot of the edge. This blade weighs about 3 pounds or so. So we'll go up right up in here. Wow, look at that. That is one cut and kind of just a light hit. It went through the joint right here. Didn't really hit any hard bone, just went through the joint. Now we'll go through the bone here. Go through this spot right here. That was one hit. See how that bone just splinters and goes all over the place? And that pretty much cut it clean through. And again, there's surprisingly very little edge damage. Now, I didn't bring my micrometer with me, so what I'll have to do is go ahead and test all these blades and then get them home and test them out and see, or measure them, see what thickness they were at, the depth of any edge damage. But that looks amazing. There's just hardly anything. Here's the Fiskars. There's a good spot on the bone right there. Wow. Okay, one hit on that. Let's see, get this. And it took some good chips out. It's not rolled. The steel's actually missing in between there. So that'll be exciting to measure and see how thin that was. And part of the edge here, so we've got some chips up here, and then we've got some rolling right here. Now this one's my new pack knife. It's quite a bit lighter than a normal chopper because it's going to be strapped to my pack. I actually have to carry the thing on my back. You can tell the grind here. This portion up, I was trying to match the geometry of a nice convex hatchet type thickness. From here to right here, it's a little bit thicker, or a little bit thinner than up here. Well, considerably thinner. I'll have to measure it out. But that's going to be the sweet spot for chopping wood, building blinds, things like that. And then from here back to here, it gets progressively thinner for whittling, sharpening tent stakes, or doing whatever. So we'll test it up in here, and then also test it down here. And I think I've got a nick in here, so I might even test it in the thinner portions. Let's get that tendon off of there. Okay, maybe we won't get that tendon. A lot of this is dried up, like this is some shank meat, but it's dried up and it's quite a bit leathery. With this blade, there's not as much weight, so you got to do an awful lot more lighter, faster chops. And the portion up in here, the thicker portion, looks like it's pretty good. There's just a little chip right here. It comes down into this portion, and there's a couple of smaller chips. So when we get into this, we might get some good edge damage there. I'll switch to a different bone, and now we're going to hit with this spot right in here. And we did get some edge damage in that sweet spot there, because I ground it for wood. I ground this part right here from what I was guessing for bone, hard use. This spot right here was ground quite a bit thinner, and you can see that there are some chips in there. So that'll be really interesting. And with that kind of chipping right up in there, I don't think I'm going to go to the thinner portions. This blade is just out of an old leaf spring. It's got an extremely heavy convex grind on it. Like I said, I use this blade for taking heads off deer and antelope in the shop before I skin them. You can use a saw for that, but then you usually get hair and you know, bone dust all over the shop. A chopper makes it just so much nicer, because usually one nice medium hit and the head just falls right off, and then there's not all that hair all over your shop. Now that's really surprising, because I've probably taken a dozen heads off with this blade and never seen that kind of edge damage. And they're all chipped out. Oh, I got one more blade. Hang on. I had another knife, but I guess I left it at the shop. So we'll try a 1095 4.5 inch hunter, battening it through the bone. That's exciting. Look at the chip out of that. So I'll get to take measurements on that, and the depth of that chip will tell me about how thick the blade needs to be able to survive that. The thickness at the depth of that chip. Now I've got one in 52-100. It's quite a bit thicker and got a pretty heavy convex grind on it. It's not wanting to go straight through the bone, so I think it might be getting some more rolling stress than what. And that mostly just snapped it. I don't believe it cut it. And we've got a little bit of chipping. Not bad though. think I'm going to stop this one and start a new video. I've got some tests on the ribs. So we'll stop this one and start another one.